Good evening, viewers, and welcome to this edition of NTV Sports Page. It's Tuesday, the 29th of September, and I'm Curtis Morton. In our headlines, Bath United Football Club continues with development of players, and in our feature for this evening, Winston Crook humbled as he receives award. We'll take this break, and I'll be right back.
Welcome to Nevis.
It's easy to believe that all Caribbean islands are the same until you visit Nevis.
Nevis is the Caribbean of a bygone era.
You will enjoy a most intimate vacation on Nevis. You're only a stranger here once.
We offer exclusive and barefoot luxury stays.
With only 400 hotel rooms, our island may be exclusive.
But the warm, genuine and friendly welcome is just everywhere.
We look forward to meeting you.
Visit nevisisland.com.
Well, I'm back and we start with football. The Bath United Football Club continues to assist in the development of its all-age players. Prior to the commencement of the best-of-3 finals in the Clash of the Shops competition on Wednesday last, the under-13s took to the field. There was an eagerness to excel demonstrated by the youthful players as Team A ranged up against Team B. One youngster was the huge difference between the two teams on the night. Chris Brown scored a hat-trick and gifted an easy victory to Team B in the final analysis. Final score, Team B 3, Team A 0. Let's take in a bit of the action. The referee is indicating that he is indeed ready, and the whistle goes. So, off and running the second half. Defended there, number 12 going forward. The orange pant, now heading, driving, defended nicely. And clearing the danger for the moment, getting a high five. It's a throw-in. Oh, is it a kick? It's going to be a kick in. Low flat kick. Right in front of the goal. This could be a chance, and it has gone in. Easy like that. Make that free. And the orange pants team, well, they're celebrating their third goal. 3 goals to zip. And the other team in red pants, they haven't responded well at all so far. Well, immediately following that game, an all-females encounter ensued. In the final analysis, Team A won by the slender margin of 1 goal to 0, with Shakira Pemberton the goal scorer. Let's take in that goal. Orange team with the free kick. Here's the ball knocked forward. Carisha Powell is there, defending very close to the goal. So confident is she, but breaking free now. Red team with a chance. The goalkeeper is quick. A little groan there by the supporters for the red team, as the goalkeeper was very confidently moving forward. Now it's back with the orange team. Moving forward now, Carisha Powell fails to get past that player, and orange team with the ball and has knocked it out of touch. So Carisha Powell falls over. My goodness, in spectacular fashion as she does the goal kick, but here's a chance now, and it has gone in. The goalkeeper there trying to stop it with the right boot as she does normally. And I think it was Carisha Powell trying to stop it in spectacular fashion and falling over. But guess what? It has gone into the back of the net. And so orange team has scored. And must be pretty close to the end of this game. So that lead is crucial. Pretty good goal, that. We'll take this break and I'll be back with our feature for this evening.
Taxes are the lifeblood of a nation. Feel good about what your tax dollars do in Nevis. As a responsible citizen, your tax dollars protect our environment. Pay your taxes on time. This message was brought to you by the Inland Revenue Department, Nevis.
Be a responsible citizen.
Well, I'm back, and tonight we feature this item in general sports. In an interview with NTV Sports Page, President of the St. Kitts and Nevis Swimming Federation, Winston Crook, in speaking of his recent Independence Award, indicated that he will continue to make his contributions to sports within the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. Let's take in this exclusive interview with the distinguished honoree. I have the distinct honor to be alongside one of Nevis's recent Independence awardees, Winston Crook. Winston, how does it feel to be so honored?
Well, how does it feel? It was obviously, of course, it was surprising, but I think for me, it's the most important is what my mum would think, and I think my mum would be proud to see me at in such illustrious company at the house, the government house. That was. I mean, they did a fabulous job, and it was, and under the circumstances that we're all living under, it was amazing to be there, and that's what I think about what my mum would have thought.
Now, Winston, if I know you well enough, a lot of what you do is done at your own expense, done voluntarily, and not looking any favors, really. What would you say, in a nutshell, would be some of the things that you would have done pertaining to our Nevisian community, whether it's on the sea, outside of the sea, some of the things that you're associated with since you have been around with us?
Well, I've been associated with. Well, I mean, when I came, I started windsurfing. Was the whole thing? The idea was bringing windsurfing, which was my sport then.
Did it have anything to do with the wind in your name?
No. Windsurfing. So the idea was, of course, I wanted to earn a living, and I wanted to bring something that wasn't already here. I didn't want to. I wanted to bring something new.
Right.
So that's what I did, and the mission was of course to train the local youth to enjoy the sport that I enjoyed, and then make a business out of it. The business side was absolutely fine, bringing people from all over the world to come to the Little Nevis with windsurfing. The only issue was I couldn't get more than 5 or 6 of the youngsters to
be interested.
Because, of course, I didn't know coming here the relationship between Kittitians and Nevisians and the ocean. I didn't know.
Okay.
So
you thought everybody could swim?
Of course, because they live on the ocean. I at that time, although I was a windsurfer, I wasn't a very good swimmer.
Okay.
But windsurfing freed me up and allowed me to, I traveled around the world windsurfing. I raced around the Caribbean windsurfing. So it was a sport that I presumed would be a natural fit, right? So
didn't work out that
no,
way.
it didn't work, not at all. So that was my first indication of the relationship between the local population and the ocean. But then at the same time, when I left England, I'd already had the seed planted of doing biking, but only as a side,
like a
thing.
backup.
Yeah, but to have some bikes for rental, which I did. So and then there was an event going on in St. Kitts. My brother was here, and we decided to form going into the race. So we didn't know what we were doing, but we did some training, went over there, and that was the start of the biking thing. And I fell in love with mountain biking at the time, And then like I always do, when I do things, I do it 100% or I don't bother, So when I wanted to get more involved in windsurfing, I just moved to where the windsurfing was, and I made my life the windsurfing. Same thing with cycling. It became my new way of life, and the development, as you're familiar with, we started competing around the region and did pretty good actually, and then that helped us learn more. And at that time, of course, I guess I would have been nominated as national champion at that time because there was literally just a few of us doing it. But the idea was to train up the youngsters again to bring their level up, and so we could travel around the Caribbean. And we raised our level from nobody knowing us to being one of the top most well-respected clubs for a small nation in the region. So that's no mean feat. So I was quite proud of that.
And how did the transition from just cycling into triathlon.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's really funny, because I remember I was in England and we used to travel to go windsurfing. So I was at a place where a bunch of people were staying and so on, and we got into conversation with the people who were staying there as well. And one of them was a triathlete.
Okay.
And I remember him, I didn't know what one was. I remember asking, what is triathlon? What is triathlon? And he said, oh, we do this, and then we do this, and then we do that. And I thought
they were crazy.
Crazy. Absolutely crazy. Crazy. That was my first introduction to triathlon. Now, fast forward to your question now. We'd done the Caribbean. The Caribbean Cup had fallen apart, which was the championship race. So we heard, again, St. Kitts was having a triathlon. Well, we couldn't swim. I mean, generally, not as well to be competitive. Yeah. But we could bike. So the idea was, we went over there to form relay teams.
Okay.
So that was our introduction to triathlon. As biking members, we just changed our tyres. We didn't have road bikes. We just changed the tyres to slicks. Went over there, and we did really well.
Wow.
We did really well. Obviously we're partnering with a swimmer and a runner.
Right.
But on the biking, we did really, really well. So that sort of was the start of it. And, say 6 months into it, there was what they call a mini series. So we just decided we'd have a go.
Okay.
The swim was 250 meters, I think, the first one. It doesn't sound a lot, but it doesn't sound a lot now, yeah. But when you're out in the water, swimming was always our hardest challenge. So we started doing those, and I remember distinctly we would always come in from the middle to the back of the pack on the swim.
But catch up on the bike.
But when we came back, and this happened one event over there. There were, I think, 10 of us went over, and we came back off the bike. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10.
Wow!
Right off the bike. So we knew we were onto something.
Wow! Wow!
And then, of course, we got more. I got more involved. I wanted to find out more. I wanted to start doing events to help build the now Nevis Cycle and Triathlon Club. So we built the sport, we built some of the athletes in the sport. Again, we took on the Caribbean, and we went from novices to a regional powerhouse, actually, because when we turned up at an event, regardless if in the Caribbean,
knew Nevis is
we were coming home with some medals. I have some myself. So we did very well for a small nation. Again, but then the ugly head of swimming rears its head, because of course, fast forward 10 years, we've done very well. Who is going to replace the guys? It's all right for me, right? Because I was not putting myself forward as the highly competitive. I loved to do what I was doing, but I was more interested in the development,
getting people developed,
building up the sport. And we tried right here at Wally to bring on some youngsters, but we could not get them to swim out.
Okay.
They would swim along,
across, but not out.
And of course, then they feel they're not developing enough, and we would lose them. So I realized, probably, I guess 13 years ago, which seems like a long time now, I realized that we had to change things. So that's when I looked into creating the swimming federation. So that I could learn, and we set
learn together.
Yes. So we could set the framework, just as we'd done with the biking and the windsurfing, biking and triathlon. The same thing with swimming. Because I had to learn myself before I could impart that knowledge, and we also had to start that dialogue. Because people would not go out in the water. They would not.
The fear of the water.
Fear of the water. Yes. So and this is despite the fact that. In 19 years ago, we did the cross-channel swim, and it became an annual event.
I was going to ask when that came into.
That's nearly 20. It's almost 20 years old. Yeah. So you think about it. At the same time we started triathlon, we started the cross-channel swim.
Okay.
So they were running alongside each other, but whereas triathlon took off and was developing and so on and so forth, up until we came against that brick wall, which is swimming. And so it was always in my mind, we must somehow conquer this. So I put forward a proposal to the then administration to build a swimming pool. And that was the first time I discussed it. I realized we can't get people to go out there. Okay, so what we can do is have them in a safe environment, which is a swimming pool. But if you're going to build a swimming pool, build one that is multifunctional, that will work not just today, but 25 years
And
from
even for
today.
competitions.
For
as well.
competitions, all those things. So I put that together in a proposal, and I've literally been pushing that same agenda ever since. So that's 13 years. So it's part of the same development idea and wanting to make a difference, basically.
So how did the swimming barrier, how did it get past that? Because now you have persons who are actually taking part in the cross-channel swim, not afraid to go out anymore, local individuals and even youngsters.
Sure, but not enough.
Okay.
Nowhere near enough. I mean, if you were to take a poll of the youngsters, and I would always evaluate swimmers. And yes, it's wonderful. Of course, it's wonderful to see 2 and 3 and 4 persons, young persons, make that attempt. But it's nowhere near enough.
Gotcha.
I mean,
Gotcha.
if you think back to some of the cross-channel swim events, we've had 20 kids come from St. Martin, 30 kids come from Barbados.
Some of them 9 years, 10 years, 11 years.
Exactly. So the idea is it's very clear. If a child comes here at 9 years old and not only completes the swim, because completing the swim is
And
tough enough.
competing strongly.
Exactly. Top 20. That means they started swimming when they were 4, 5,
Right,
and so on.
right.
And that's where I think we need to be. So that's part of the whole plan, the grand plan. I don't know if I'll see it, but I'm hoping I can be part of that conversation up until the brain goes.
Yeah.
So the idea is to push forward and the reason why I think swimming is so important is because it transforms this ocean, which is currently like a prison. It's like you're looking out there and you see it's
like
fear.
a death sentence.
Exactly.
Especially today when it's a little rough.
Exactly. So you transform that to when people are competent in the water, they can then go swimming whenever they feel like it. They can go sailing, windsurfing, kayaking,
And
all
be-
those
and be
sports.
comfortably.
So that because I've been on the ferry, just on the ferry, which is a safe, vessel to go across. It's a half-an-hour journey, and people are crossing themselves and muttering under their breath. This has to change, and you do that through learning, with teaching the kids and so on and so forth first, and then you develop that, and then you slowly try to wipe away that fear, and it becomes a place of enjoyment. I'll relate a story. I was blessed to go to the Commonwealth Games as an official for triathlon, and whilst I was there, we walked along the coast, the Australian coast, which is rough. This is when waves are constantly coming on the shore. So it's not like here. It's not like our beautiful Caribbean ocean. Rough. And yet, all along that coastline are huge clubs. And we talked to the guys, how are you doing this? Because kids were there when we were there. He said there were like 30 youngsters right there. He said this is nothing. In the summer, when they have their programs, they have 200 and 300 youngsters apiece.
Wow.
They're as natural in the water. That's why Australia excels in swimming, in surfing, in lifeguarding, all those water sports. Because they start from small, and it's not a place of fear. It's a place of fun and enjoyment, and they can excel. Because it opens so many windows and doors to the future.
Well, Winston, as we look forward, this is a sacrificial choice you've made. It takes a lot of your own money, a lot of your time. What motivates you to continue?
Well, I've questioned this sometimes. I think it's dementia to some degree. But on a serious note, I just think my mission was to do something, to do something to help, whatever it was. These are my sports of choice. Okay, I've been involved in many sports, and you'll be surprised to know my very first sport was cricket. Okay, exactly. I've been involved.
Pace bowler.
I was involved in cricket from a very young age. I've been involved in many sports. These just happen to be the sports that I find most applicable here, and I wanted to create something and have an impact as much as I could on and give people an opportunity, because not everybody is capable of being a cricketer, a footballer, a basketballer, all those traditional sports. I want to do something outside of that, and this was my way. I didn't expect it to be as tough as it was, but if I have a skill, it's that I'm really stubborn. If I think something's a good idea, I'm gonna push it I'm gonna go for it anyway. And there's a wonderful saying. It's a long one, but I'll shorten it. Mother Teresa. I remember reading this years and years ago. Mother Teresa said, "If it's a good thing, despite the drawbacks, despite the setback, despite the negative opinions, despite the this, despite the that, if it's a good thing, do it anyway." So that's what I'm doing. I just do it anyway.
Okay. Well, Winston, on behalf of the people of Nevis, we want to say thanks, because they probably don't know, but I know, in terms of the sacrifice that you have made to make things like these happen. The cross-channel swim, the surfing, the triathlons, the whole gamut of activities that you have helped to bring Nevis some recognition for. We want to say thanks, and we want to congratulate you wholeheartedly on receiving your Independence Day Award. We think it was well deserved, and we want to wish you all the best. We hope that the Independence Award does not say, well, this is it, I've arrived, and that Winston will continue.
I'm going out there to fix a swimming lane right now.
Gotcha.
That's where I'm going.
Gotcha. Well, thank you so much, Winston, and all the best in the future.
Thank you, Curtis.
And so we say again, congratulations, Mr. Crook. That's our package for this evening. I am Curtis Morton, reminding you that you can watch sports if you're not fit. But to play sports requires fitness, diligence, and sacrifice. Have a good night.